Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Sunday, January 3rd, 2021. It sounds like a date from the future, but it's a date from today. Just sounds weird saying that, January 3rd, 2021. I don't know why that sounds so weird. It seems very weird. How you guys doing today? Today it's I can't tell if it's snowing outside or if it's just like frost and snow and like just precipitation frozen on trees is all just blowing around. I can't really tell, but it got foggy the last couple of days, and overnight it got cold, and then it warmed up, and so it's just weird. Everything just looks like it got dusted overnight and frosted, and it's just kind of really cool out. But interesting weather pattern here. How are you guys doing today? Let's say hi to everyone on the podcast first before we get too deep into this. Say hi to everyone. I hope you guys are having a good run, and hi to everybody watching on YouTube after the fact. Welcome. Glad to have you here. For my I didn't have a long run today. I was tired. I was really tired. So I went with something a little bit shorter. I slept in a little bit longer than I was planning on. And then I went for 7. I was going to go for 10, but decided to go for 7, just kind of keep it a little bit shorter today. Yeah, I went for 7 today, right? Or did I go for? Yeah, I went. I don't know. It seems like a day ago at this point. I'm just like lost track of time today. Really weird. Let's see who's here. We got Philip Bourne saying, hi, everyone. Recommendations for foot pods with the current GPS issues. Interested in buying one that my FR 245 can use for more accurate pace and distance information. That's all I need from it. Yeah, what's unfortunate is that there isn't like a cheap foot pod. Garmin used to have a cheap foot pod. It was like $50 or $60. I think it only worked with Garmin, but you've got an FR 245, so that's not a problem for you. I think they stopped making it. I want to say though that don't the heart rate monitors from Garmin, like the HRM Run or something like that, they have power or something. They have other metrics from the heart rate monitor that I've been meaning to look into. But I don't know if pace and distance are included in some of those metrics that they have available. So I'm not sure about that. And then, whoops, there we go. What's going on here? I'm trying to adjust. It's too bright. So I don't know. I know Zwift makes a foot pod, but I think that's only for getting onto Zwift. But I'm not sure if it can. It's designed for a treadmill, so I don't think it's going to give you pace and distance information. But I could be wrong on that. I'm just not sure. Sunto used to make a foot pod. It was giant. It was like the size of a battery pack, like maybe not quite this big, like the size of this battery pack, but it was big. I never tested that one out though. But I mean, for as far as I know, foot pods, there's one that goes like, I forget what brand is it. It goes on like your waistband, like behind you. But other than that, I like the Stride foot pod. That's the only one I know of. Jen is here. Got here a little early. Another rest day for Jana. Alternating between studying for physiology and watching Scrubs on YouTube. Nice. And Scrubs and YouTube. Nice. Scrubs was a good show. I really enjoyed that one. And it says, hi, Kofuzi and everyone. Seems all GPS watches with Sony chips were affected by bad data given out. All that is needed is to sync your watch to correct this, according to DC Rainmaker. Okay. I mean, it seems, is this like a Y2K issue? Or it's like they clicked over to the new year and now everything's all messed up? I haven't looked at any of my GPS tracings, but I think all my GPS tracings have been fine. Does Polar use Sony chips? I don't know. I don't know that level of detail of my watches. So I can't tell if that's been a problem for me or not. And Philip says, is it actually confirmed fixed? Last comments on DC Rainmaker's YouTube channel, or I'm guessing YouTube channel, say there's still issues. Therefore, use Strava app for backup tomorrow morning, and worst case, merge the fit files. Yeah, it's a big issue. Leona's here says, happy Sunday, everyone. Unplanned rest day since feeling under the weather. Well, I hope you feel better soon, Leona. Remember Mike's goal of not pushing too hard to stay healthy. Yeah, that's what I did today too. I wanted to get 10 miles in for the day, maybe even a little bit longer, 11, 12, but I was just like, I'm just feeling tired today. And I'm not feeling out of breath, but I'm just feeling like a little bit like, I've been talking about that feeling a lot where like if you've been swimming all day, or like if you're at the beach or at the pool, not swimming for like workout, but like just for recreation. And then like later in the day, sometimes they're like a deep breath is a little bit tiring. Like I've kind of had something sort of like that for like the past day or couple of days. And so I've been trying to get better sleep. That doesn't really work for me, but I've been trying and been taking it a little bit easier as far as my runs. Like I didn't have like a hard workout this week because I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But what ended up happening is that some of the runs that I did go on ended up being better than I thought they would be. So I feel like, you know, it wasn't like I felt like it was the right move for me. Dr. Funk is here, says, hello, everyone. I officially declared the hardest runs to be the recovery run after a long run. After these types of runs, I lie on the ground thinking about my existence instead of stretching. That's funny. Very funny. Yeah, Sarah Mims says, Leona's not alone. Same with her. Massive temp change with weather front. Through sleeping and sinuses for a loop. So resting today also. Happy to be here. Well, happy to have you here, Sarah. And yeah, that can certainly do it too. Whenever the weather front changes, it just throws a lot of people off. It also throws off your sleeping. Just throws a lot of things off. But you know, I'm wondering if now I've been paying a lot closer attention to my body. I mean, a lot of times it used to be kind of like the shut up legs kind of mentality where I was like, I don't feel great today. I'm tired. And I was just like, whatever, be tough and let's get through it. But now I'm trying to think like, oh, well, I did have a couple of harder weeks and I haven't had hard weeks in a while. And so I think that's catching up to me. So I'm thinking that like, you know, like all these things are related in terms of like, my body is really straining, to recover, to absorb the workouts that I've had. And so that waking up with like a little bit of, do my sinuses feel a little bit congested this morning? Like that kind of thing is like, I feel like I'm noticing those things a little bit more, or I'm paying attention to those signals that I guess I've always been there. And I think those things are all kind of related. It's like, you know, my body just can't fight off stuff when it's, you know, being stressed. All right. Chris says, hi, everyone. Hope all is well. Enjoying the Founder's Choice KBS chocolate stout. That sounds delicious. Yeah, Carlos Rivera said that too. Exact same thing. That sounds delicious. Ben Y is here and JC as well. Good to see you guys. Spence Holmes, what's up? Bert Laguess is here. Good to see you, Bert. Ben Y said about the GPS issue, says something called the CPE expired on the GPS chipsets on some Garmin models on 1/1/21. An update should be out as of today. Just need to sync with phone. Okay, so is it a Garmin only issue? It's been a tough kind of like 12 months for Garmin, huh? Oh boy. Wow, crazy. How do they not know that that's coming though? Like, what isn't that something that they should have pushed out like a month or two ago? Scotty B says, hey all, 10 miles at 8 Fahrenheit. Oh. Kofuzi, he says, trying out some new goggles. Xeonor. Wasn't cold enough to give you my full review. Testing fogginess. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. You know, I got like, as I was talking about goggles, I don't know if it was just coincidence or if it was like someone had like watched it and I was like, oh, time to send this guy some goggles. But like someone reached out to me and was like, do you want to try out some of these goggles? And I wanted to, but I'm also like, I'm not, I think that this is something that I kind of need to go figure out a little bit on my own first. I don't, like the goggles that I have are anti-fog. They're not the greatest. They're $30 goggles. And I know you could spend up to $300 or more. And then there's a lot in between. But I was just like, no, I gotta figure this out a little bit better first. And then I can compare instead of baseline. Because I don't want to do a review while I'm also kind of like discovering the product category. Not that I haven't done that before. But with the goggles, I just feel like I need to figure some stuff out first. But I've been some of the days it's been cold enough that I've been playing outside with the girls with my ski goggles on. And some days I'll spend the entire like over an hour outside. Yeah, and I'm not like huffing and puffing like I am when I'm running. But the whole time I'm outside for an hour, buff on, face goggles on, and we're playing. Not a single fog up, not a single like ice crystal on the thing. Other days, after like 30 minutes, I can see the ice crystal start to creep. So I just think part of it might be humidity. Like a lot of it's weather related. Some days it works great for me and some days it doesn't. I don't know. Well, it's cold here and there's plenty of snow and frigid temps. So like I have lots of opportunities to test. So I'll do some more testing too. But I'm happy to take in any data that you're bringing in, Scotty. All right. Ryan Pauly's here. What's up, Ryan? Says happy Sunday fun day. Donald Beck says, Michael, your winter runs always look so serene and peaceful. I'm really enjoying that out here. Like for whatever, I mean, I guess because a lot of the weekend traffic around here typically is like, I think commercial, like farm related, or people just doing chores or running errands and stuff. And this, like last week, it's been snow. People are, done with farming, I think, for the winter for a lot of people. I mean, livestock people are different, but like crops is different. There's not a lot to do, I don't think. And so like the roads have been really quiet. And so I'm just running in the middle of a street or a dirt road in the middle of a field or a couple of fields. And it's been really nice. Sometimes it's kind of like too serene and I'm almost like, I need to listen to something louder. So I've definitely been doing that. Feeling a little bit lonely at times, but I'm just trying to all just take it in at the same time as well. It's been really nice. It's been really nice. I like running when there's snow on the ground. I feel like as long as it's going to be cold, this might as well be like snow covered. Adam JK says, jealous of people that run so effortlessly in these conditions in terms of the snow. He says, I was not comfortable at all. It takes time to get used to it. And I'm not always comfortable. Today's run took me it was like a hour-long run, hour and change. Took me a good 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes, I was like, I'm way underdressed. It's too cold. And then the next 30 minutes, I was like, I'm dripping with sweat. This is uncomfortable. So like, it's not always, it doesn't always look as great. It doesn't feel as great as it looks a lot of times. So there's that. Carlos, on the other hand, is coming in from Puerto Rico. He doesn't have any of these cold weather problems. How's it going, Carlos? Ultra Dad said, hey, what's up, Mike? New Year starts tomorrow. Ultra Dad is going to crush it. Awesome. Very cool. And Ben Y says, I don't know how you guys run in such temps. England doesn't have the best weather, but it also only dips below freezing a couple of days a year. Yeah, I've been very envious of that. And I noticed that a lot. The first time I really noticed that was last winter when I was watching like Andy primarily doing a lot of like park run and like races, and he'd be in like a singlet and like thin gloves, and I'm like, how is he doing this? I was like, I don't understand. But I think the ocean currents, the way that I think they go this way, come from south to north for you guys. Is that right? But I think whatever it is, like the water seems to be buffering a lot of the temperatures for you guys, so you're not getting so cold. As you would like over here. But even then, like, I grew up in New England, in New Jersey, like in the Atlantic. I thought we had cold winters, but they're pretty mild compared to what we get here. But I mean, I don't know, probably because it's closer to the ocean. I just remember getting so much more snow. Which is a little bit different. Donald Beck says, I know you're a lone wolf, Kofuzi, but you have all of us in spirit. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I was, actually just thinking about the fact that, like, I haven't run with another person in, like, 9 months. It's really weird. It's very strange. I mean, even, like, running in Chicago before we came out here for, like, March, April, and May, and was it till the end of June? No, I think we got to Gothenburg in June. But for those months, I was trying to run really early, specifically to avoid people. So I didn't really see any other runners. Occasionally I'd see a bicyclist or some dude kind of like stumbling through the streets, like that kind of thing, or some people going to work. But I didn't really see very many people even when I was running in Chicago either. Not if I was doing it right. So it was it's been very quiet. Very quiet. Running for my best life says, I'd be afraid of slipping and breaking a hip. Ha ha. I mean, it's a real concern for me too. That's why these days I always run. I always run with something that has the capability of like texting my wife or calling my wife. So either my iPhone or my Apple Watch that has like the cellular capability. So that way I can like text her in case something really goes haywire. Like let's say trip, twist an ankle, or I'm just having a bad run and I need someone to come pick me up. Knock on wood, I haven't had to do that yet, but it's definitely a consideration for me. Carlos says it's not. I guess that frozen eyelash is not a problem over here. Yeah, for sure. Dr. Funk says, is Iowa as cold as Chicago though? Remember the freeze from last year? I do remember the freeze from last year. That was bitterly cold. That was just intense. But like if you look at the temperatures at any given moment because if you look at where I am in Dubuque, Iowa, or we're a little bit outside of Dubuque, it's at basically the intersection of Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa, and that's a little bit north of Chicago. And I do think that the lake, even when it's frozen, it still buffers the temperatures a little bit. And I would say it's probably like 5 to 10 degrees warmer on any given day than it is here. And so, there's certainly, I'm not saying Chicago doesn't get cold. And when the lake freezes over, the wind just I feel like it just comes straight from the other side of the lake, just whipped across the entire time. And that just cuts through you. It's like, it's like in the movie Frozen when Anna gets hit from Elsa and she goes, oh, and she gets hit in the belly with the ice. I feel like that's what wind feels like along Michigan in the winter. But it's certainly cold. But here, I think it's a little bit colder. It's just more consistently colder. Yeah, Scotty B says for the cold temps, the layers are key and good. Layers are key and good gloves/mittens. I wore one too many layers today. I had to take it all off mid-run. Yeah, that's always frustrating. I've been doubling up on the gloves lately. I've been doing my thin gloves and then my mittens, and then sometimes even still the hand warmer in there, just because my hands just get so cold. I think I have really bad circulation, and the first pair of gloves, the thin ones, that's not so much because I want double layer of protection, which I do. But the main thing is that when I have to take my hand out of my glove to grab a gel or fix my buff or whatever, it slides in and out of the glove much easier. So I've just been really enjoying that. So I've just been doing that pretty much every day. Jana says, we will finally probably get some nice weather in Slovakia. Some sunny, cold days, my favorite. Not much snow, though. Oh, I didn't know that. I would have expected a lot of snow in the winter over there. Jay Mondahar said, when we get hair product reviews for running Mike? What kind of hair products are there for running? Here's a rubber band I use to keep my hair up, that kind of thing. I really don't know. I have no idea. I do know that when I come back from a run these days, the hair back here is all frozen in a knot. And it's very, very uncomfortable. I have to let everything up here thaw for a minute for fear of I'm just going to pull out a chunk of hair at some point. It's a little bit uncomfortable to come back. Akela Jean says it's 67 degrees in Tampa. That sounds nice. I like Tampa. Tampa's a great place. 67 degrees in Tampa, waiting for my clothes to dry so I can run a few miles because the weather jives well with my asthma flares around this time of year. Okay. Summer fares better back in Connecticut and New York. All right. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, Tampa's nice. I just like the Gulf Coast. It's really nice. I'm a big fan. I wish there were more places that I would. I feel like it's a really well kept secret. There's just lots of places to go. I just don't know where they are. Ultra Dad says, I'm probably behind the curve, but have you guys permanently relocated to Iowa or going back eventually? We're going back soon. We've got some medical appointments and stuff that we just really can't keep putting off anymore. So we're going to head back relatively soon. So, I was listening. My in-laws were watching an interview with Fauci today, and he was anticipating that by March or April, everyone that wants to get a vaccine can get a vaccine. So that would be I think me, but I think that we're probably gonna need to go back before then. So we're still gonna have 1 or 2 months where I'm just gonna be a nervous wreck for a while. So that'll be great, and the kids will be bouncing off the walls because we'll have no space, and they don't like to go outside. They don't like to wear their masks and stuff. So. They're very good at it, but they don't like it, and so I just worry. It's gonna be a really rough end of winter. Noble Wizard says, "Do you recommend having a protein shake after the run to help with recovery?" I do. I have a couple that I like. I don't think you need to do it every run. It just depends. The main reason I don't do it after every run is primarily cost. But after a big run, my favorite ones are the Unived recovery drinks. They've got lots of turmeric in it. That's supposed to help as an anti-inflammatory, but my body craves the flavor of it. It's just very strange that it does, but I like that one a lot. And I also have a plant-based protein that I like, OWYN, only what you need. It's peanut safe, so it's, I feel good about having it in the house. That one's a lot cheaper, and that one I over the summer I had some like pretty much every day after every run. So like that's something that I like to do, because otherwise, if left to my own devices, I'll probably just eat a lot of like cookies and like sugary snacks and stuff after a run. And I do feel like, getting some protein in right away. I mean, I don't subscribe to like, you got to eat something within 30 minutes, but like, I don't think it's a bad idea either. So, yeah. Shannon says, do you do the electric gloves anymore? I gave them one go and for hot hands with cotton for easier hand dexterity. I'm with you. I mean, that's pretty much like the basic thing is like, I do like the electric gloves. I use them to play with the girls outside every day. So I'm using them every day, but I'm primarily, because those are like water resistant and my craft running gloves are not. So I kind of have saved those for like, I'll wear those for playing with the girls outside, and then I'll run with my other like running gloves and use hand warmers. I mean, I still have like, I keep them in my pocket all day because I'm always cold. So like and they stay warm for like they stay warm pretty much as long as I'm awake. Or at least from the time I run to like the time pretty much that I go to bed. So I just kind of keep in my pocket, and then I'll have my hands in my pockets, and I'll just kind of stay warm that way because my hands are still just always cold a little bit. So I like these, but it just, I don't, it's just another kind of like single use thing every day, but I don't know. It's cold, so I need it. I like it. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting a lot of use out of it, so there. Curacao is 82 degrees Fahrenheit in Miami. Oof, melting again. Yeah, my I guess my wife's aunt and uncle, they're going down to Orlando. I think they just drove down like yesterday from northern Illinois down to Orlando. And my mother-in-law has been like, I don't know if it's like, there's a little bit of sibling rivalry or what are going on, but she's like, she's going down to Orlando, but that's not really that hot. If I was going to go all the way to Florida, I would go somewhere hot, like where it's like hot all the time, like Miami. And I was like, okay, sure. I don't know. I'd love to be in Tampa, Orlando, Miami. All of those would be great right now. Donald Beck says, I think Meb may have moved to Tampa. Did he? I mean, he's lived in Florida for a while, hasn't he? I mean, he lived, earlier in San Diego, but I thought like, was it like after he retired, he moved with his wife and his girls and his kids. He has more than just girls, right? I thought they always lived in Florida. I don't know. Roberto is leaving. He's gonna go watch the Bears lose to the Packers. All right. I haven't watched like a single like sporting event since like everything shut down in like 2020, and I don't know how much. I mean, other than track events, but I don't know how many of those like sports that I've been like trying to continue playing during all this time I'm gonna ever watch again. I just don't know. But I mean, I get it. People love to watch it, and it doesn't bother me. Faco says, how are you today? What was your longest run, or what is your main distance? My main distance, my most commonly run distance is probably 7 miles. There's a loop that I do around here that's 7 miles. Back at home, there was a run that I liked to do. If I run down the lakefront, there's that point whenever there's footage of Chicago of people getting washed by waves like into the water or like sliding on the ice. That spot is usually my turnaround point. That would give me like 6.25 miles. So like, that is my like most frequently run distance. My longest run was probably my 50K that I ran. So that's my longest. Christopher Rochelle says, is there a rule of thumb for how much sweat is too much sweat in the winter? Trying to dress warm enough to not to freeze, but light enough not to sweat too much. But I'm still sweating a fair amount. Yeah, I think that I think a lot of that's going to come down to preference. Because like I was trying earlier this winter to make it so that when I got back from a run, I would just feel like fine, and my clothes would not be like damp or sweaty. But like that's also kind of when I kind of got sick a little bit. It's also when I was doing a lot of workouts. So like, who knows exactly what it is? Probably like a combination of all those things. So for me, like I don't consider it like a failure if like when I get back, I'm a little bit sweaty. The other thing is like, I'm less concerned about it for people if, you're ending your route like near home, right? So like for me, even if I'm sweaty, then my cool down is usually like a mile, maybe a little bit longer. But like I've not gotten so sweaty that like I'm getting cold again during that cool down. I'm just wet and a little bit uncomfortable because the clothes are gross, but I'm not cold. So like I would say like if you're doing like a longer cool down or you have to go somewhere far, like after the main workout part to like get back home, then I would be a little bit more concerned about it and trying to like really dial it in. But for me, like just that first, I get cold. I don't like the cold all that much. So like that first 30 minutes, I don't really want to be like in pain when that's happening. So like a lot of people say you should feel a little bit chilly. I'd say try not to be a lot chilly, but a little bit chilly is okay. That's kind of how I feel about it. So like I'm sweaty when I get back, some days more than others. And I'm okay with it. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like dripping, soaking wet because then you're going to get cold. But if you're just sweating and not cold, then I think that's okay. That's kind of how I do it. Spence Ohm says the OWYN in chocolate, OWYN, that protein powder in chocolate flavor with half almond milk, half water is the best. Try to take one within an hour of a workout, but life can get in the way. It is good with a good nut milk. I've never put like actual milk in it because they go through such length to keep dairy out of it. So I'm like, it'd be like really weird to then just put dairy in it. So I've done it with nut milk, really good. Like I usually just have it with water. Sometimes I'll throw it in my coffee. A lot of times I'll throw it in with my coffee. Will Willing says, you commented on the Hyperion Tempo, working harder to get the benefits of the midsole. Can you go into more detail? What if I can't hit 7:30 per mile paces? Yeah, the way I see it, Will, is that that's usually when it starts to like really perk up for me. But I think it's relative, right? And so like I use that kind of because people understand paces. But I think that for a lot of shoes, and when I talk about like carbon plated shoes, like loading the carbon and all that stuff too, like I don't really talk about it in terms of pace, or try not to. I think about it in terms of effort. So like 7:30 per mile pace for me is kind of like a moderate effort. I think that if like once you're beyond just like an easy run, then I think that's when it's really you're gonna start feeling the benefit of it. And I think that's just relative to each person. Just kind of like a race shoe like the Vaporfly, for example. I think that people are going to feel the benefit when they're trying to run, say, like a 5K. Even if your 5K is like 45 minutes, if like that for that 45 minutes you're really working hard and you're dead at the end, then you're going to feel the benefit of that shoe. I mean, not all shoes are that way. Certain shoes, carbon plated shoes, I think might be a little bit of an exception. But I generally feel like, like when I say this is a 5K shoe or 10K shoe, I don't really care about your pace. Because when you're working that hard, you're going to feel the benefits of it. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense. All right. Gold81 says, any double days on the horizon? What's the most doubles you would do per week? Great way to increase total mileage, but has to be balanced and managed correctly. I used to do 5 doubles a week. I used to do like 4 doubles a week. I would just run commute. So in the morning, I would run it was like 6 miles, relatively direct route. I'd run along the lakefront path to get to work. And then in the afternoon, if I could take off early, I'd take kind of like a meandering route, or I'd go south before I would go back north. So then I would make it, anywhere between the same 6 or closer to 9 or even 10. So yeah, the mileage adds up super fast when you do it that way. And I would just do that every day. And that just became like my routine. But what is the most I would recommend? I don't know. It depends on kind of like, people say that like they really like, they think that it's better to do all your runs in singles and you do doubles like if you have to. I've been doing only singles for the last 9 months, and I'm not sure that that's necessarily the best. I think that there's certainly benefit on like recovery days to kind of break it up. Or on a workout day, then you can have like a shorter workout, really intense, and then have like a nice easy recovery run in the afternoon. I think that also works too. So I don't know that I'm going to have on the horizon, none on the horizon. You know, it's going to be a long time before I need to do doubles again, I think. Or I mean, because like usually, the main reason for that being like I do doubles based on schedule, and like I don't see my schedule changing that I'll need to do that. Dr. Funk 1216 says, "Am I the only one on long runs working around taking some goose for energy? I feel like it helps a little." I do. I mean, I don't really bring hydration along with me in the wintertime just because I don't want to carry the fluid and have it get cold and freeze on me. So I'll kind of use a larger gel, Science and Sport or Unived, that is a little bit more fluid rather than thick and goopy, and I'll use that. So I mean, I'll usually bring one with me for a 7-mile run. I may or may not use it. Anything longer than that, I'll usually bring at least one. The other day when I did the 15-mile run, I brought 2. I had one at mile like 5 and maybe a little bit earlier than 5, and then one at mile like 10. CV6 wants to know if those are hand warmers in my pockets. Yeah, I mean, the other way to put that is like, what are you doing in there? I'm like, no, just warming my hands with my hand warmers. You know, I know. Yeah, Stevie76 talking about the sibling drama. Dan Runs is here. Good to see you, Dan. Awesome. And Carlos says, so excited for track this year. It'll be interesting. I mean, like, people are going to be chomping at the bit, like, for track trials and all that stuff. I mean, there's going to be a lot of racing that needs to get done early. So crazy to see what happens. Remy says, funny, everyone wants to run Boston Marathon, but no one really wants to run in Boston Day in April. Bundle up, friends. Yeah. I mean, I've told my running buddy and I, when we talked about it, I'm like, it's a real shame that the Boston Marathon always has such bad weather. You know, because it should be like on the best day of the year, but like it's always on like just a terrible time of year to do it. But you know, that's all part of the experience, I guess. Carlos asks, Kofuzi, what's your favorite world record of all time, or I think it's world record of all time. I'm not sure. You have to clear that up for me, Carlos. I'm not sure what the question is. Luis Claudio Costa says, what is your running goals in 2021? I mean, I made a video about that. I guess I didn't really talk that much about running, like time goals. But, I mean, running goals, I mean, there's kind of 2 sets. I want to do a bunch of different races. Primarily, I want to do a 50K, like an official 50K, not like a solo time trial. I want to do an actual one. I want to do a triathlon as well. See if there's time for that. I also like to do a master steeplechase because I think that'd be fun. But the stuff that I've done before, you know, I'd like to do a 3-hour marathon. I mean, there's such a big laundry list of stuff to do. You know, like running a 3-hour marathon is still like something on my to-do list. Breaking 40 for the 10K and 6-minute miles for the 5K, which I think comes down to like 18:38 or something like that. So, yeah. Dr. Funk says, I think once you decide to retire, it's time to go to Florida, like all the people from the New Hampshire area. Yeah, you know what? I mean, at least what I've realized in part of the Tampa area is that, and I'm sure this applies to a lot of other kind of like areas with lots of snowbirds, other retirement kind of like not communities, but like areas with a lot of retirees, is that like there's pockets of people from lots of different places. So like the reason I'm familiar with Tampa or like south of Tampa, I'm not sure exactly how much further south it is, but we flew into Tampa to go visit my running buddy. His mother has a place down in Florida down there, and everyone from there all like knew each other up in like Wisconsin. And so like, it's basically a bunch of Wisconsin people that all like have spent their winters down in Florida. And then there's just like, and he's like, and if you go down further down the island, there's all these people from Michigan, and there's just like pockets. I think that's my understanding of Florida. So I think that's kind of cool. It's like kind of like a summer camp in a way, or I guess a winter camp. Janet Tan says, hello, Kofuzi, Happy New Year. Well, hello, Janet. Happy New Year to you too. TV76 says, who's going back to work tomorrow? I mean, I guess for work, I got to do the homeschooling stuff. So I got to go to work tomorrow, I guess. I am, and I'm not looking forward to trying to get my kids back onto some sort of sleep schedule. So that'll be an interesting challenge. Oren asks, is COVID bad in your area right now? In Ireland, it's getting very bad. Yeah, in Ireland, or do you have the more infectious strain over there? I don't really know that. I mean, based on the numbers that are being reported in Iowa, things are like looking pretty rosy. Numbers are down, hospitalizations are down, deaths are down. I mean, they're still happening, but it's hard. Like I've just lost a lot of faith in like the public health in this state, and I'm wondering. I don't know. I have nothing but an inclination, but I just feel like it seems like testing has been clamped down. So I think the reason why cases are down is because testing numbers are down. So like, I think it's bad. I think it's very bad in here. But I think that people are playing with the numbers in a way to make it look better. That's mine. I guess conspiracy theory that I'll float out there for today. But yeah. I suppose I should be more careful when I talk about stuff like that. But it just feels like, I don't know. People like here's the weirdest thing for me about it is that like here we're all talking about like, man, when things go back to normal, we're gonna go to races, we're gonna travel, we're gonna run with our friends. Like I don't know what people like in this town, for example, where like 10% of this town has had COVID. By which that I mean 30. But a lot of people in this town and in this county, like they're going to sporting events. They're going to their kids' sporting events. There's like youth basketball tournaments that are happening. And I'm just like what are they going to go back to? Everyone's doing the normal everything. Like bars are full here. I don't know. I just don't understand. Like I'm having a hard time like understanding a lot of times. I'm trying to understand it. I mean, I think I understand it, but like I feel like I'm also being cynical about it. So I just don't know. Traxta says, come on our podcast. Sure. Yeah, I'll do it. I think I'm a little bit older than your typical demographic, but I'll hop on for sure. Let's set it up. Yeah, welcome guys. Glad to have you guys here. Chris Smith says California has the highest numbers, but they're in severe lockdown. What's up with that? I suspect that California has that more highly infectious strain. Because I don't know, based on no knowledge other than the fact that like they don't have like the public transportation is very different there than it is here. Like not here, but in Chicago or like New York, for example. And they're just getting slammed, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Mike Sherman says they should go about business as usual. If you're scared to live, that's not life. Well, yeah. Are you telling me what those people are saying? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Dr. Funk says, speaking of COVID, I'm supposed to get my second dose vaccine this week, so I guess I'm like 80% immune. That's how it works. Yeah, I mean, well, like you'd be more, you're 80% soon now, but then like the second dose, aren't they saying that those like 90% numbers don't happen until like a week after the second dose? I'm not sure how that works, but awesome. So I'm glad that you're getting your vaccine. Shoot question. Medius, I think that's what that is. Medius says, yo guys, Zoom Flight 3 or Nova Blast for daily? Oh, Nova Blast for daily for sure. The Zoom Flight 3, I wouldn't like it for a daily shoot. It's more for workouts for me, in my opinion. So that's how I do it. Steve 76, so funny. So YouTube is cool, so cool. I just learned to change my car's headlights. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like everything that I learn as an adult now, I only learn through YouTube. Yeah, whether it's like learning how to edit a video or change a car's headlights. Did I mention to you guys that like we had some car trouble, like our car battery died, and we had to jump the car? I definitely looked that up on YouTube because I don't know how to do that. So, but then at the end of it all, my father-in-law just did it, so it was okay. So I didn't have to do it. And he did it differently than I would have done it based on the YouTube videos that I watched. So I was just like, all right, whatever you say. So I just followed his advice, and it ended up working. And Matt says, "Co, if your podcast dance card is going to get really full really quickly, I know a few people that are going to want you to come on their shows. I'm happy to. You guys can email me. I'm at code.mike@gmail. I'm really bad at checking the email. So like if it might take me a couple of days. It's one of the things that I want to work on for this year is just to make sure I'm not saying it. Just feels really disrespectful for me to be bad at my email. So I'm working on it, but we could do that. I'm happy to hop on. Oh, Alex says they did ID the more infectious strain in California a week or two ago, which means it's likely been here for a bit. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if the United States actually did that kind of testing regularly, like lots of other places do, they wouldn't be calling it the UK infectious strain. They'd be calling it the United States infectious strain. That's my theory. Again, based on no information, just kind of that's what makes sense to me. Ryan Waterman says, do you balance 1080 version 11 or get version 10 on discount? I haven't run in the version 11 yet. And I try to avoid stuff like looking at stuff for shoes that I know I'm going to review. It looks to be like a pretty mild update though. So like, and when is it coming out? It's coming out like in a month, or is it because of the 880 is not coming out till March? Is that when the 1080 is coming out, or is the 1080 coming out before that? If the 1080 is going to come out before that, like in February, for example, I might wait to get the 1080 version 11, because it's coming up pretty soon. But if it's not going to be here for another like 2 months, then I might get the version 10 right now. Oh, Tractor says, sorry if you've already answered this. Opinions on the ZoomX Invincible run? I mean, it's an interesting shoe. I don't know that I'm going to review it personally. It looks like a lot of shoe so far, but I'm definitely keeping my eye on it. It looks interesting. But is it ZoomX that's in that shoe? In the Invincible run? I thought that one was a React only foam as well. I mean, I definitely need to take a closer look at it. It looks like a tank to me though. So like I don't really know what Nike's doing with all these different React shoes. That's kind of like my main kind of like reaction to all the new announcements, like with the Infinity React 2, the Infinity Run 2. That one also just seems to have gotten bigger and like bulkier. So I don't know. La Pizza says, a good daily trainer for under $100? I would say, I haven't run in these. I've run in the Launch 6. I haven't run in the Launch 7 or 8, but that one's under $100 right now. The Launch 7. I think the Launch 8 just came out. That's $100. Launch 7 is like $75. I think that you can get some Ultra Boost 20 for under $100. I might be wrong on that, but I think you can. That I think would be a good deal. Let's see, what else can you get for under $100? The Revel. Also, I haven't run in that one, but that's like an 8mm drop. That one's probably like the most interesting to me of the Brooks kind of like more traditional shoes. So I might still pick up one of those in the next month or two. Let's see what else is good under $100. I probably look at a lot of Adidas because Adidas has a lot more deals. But I don't know what else is under $100. I think it depends on kind of like what's on sale. Steve 76, my father-in-law should have his own YouTube channel. I mean, he should. I mean, my father-in-law is kind of like a Ron Swanson. He's really good woodworker. So he spends a lot of time with tools and stuff. And I I think it would be a pretty fun YouTube channel. I don't think he'd be that interested in it, but yeah. Trains with Coda says, Kofuzi says, I learned to YouTube on YouTube. I did learn to YouTube on YouTube. I watched a lot of Tim Schmoyer. He does video creators, right? He has a great channel, lots of great stuff. Martha says, we learned how to change a light switch on YouTube. Some of the good things that happen when you don't want anyone to come in your house unless absolutely necessary. Oh yeah, for sure. I bet. Yeah, Sean Marshall with the good advice though. The pizza, just get older versions of what you want. Boston, Saucony Ride, Clifton's. That's definitely good advice. You know, I get like requests like periodically of people saying like, can you review like the Windflow, or can you review like this other shoe? And I'm like, what is that? And I'll look it up, and it's like the kind that you only can find like at some like Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with buying your shoes there, but like shoes that like aren't like some of like the bigger names. And for me, I would rather people run for running. I would rather they have like the last year's version of like kind of the flagships, if you want to call it that way. If you're getting them for like your kids and they're in like high school and middle school and stuff like that, you know, that's get what, you know, you got, just get the shoes that are available to you, and then that work for you. But if you're looking for like a running specific shoe and you've got a budget, I always think just get the good stuff from last year. That's how I look at it. Eric Fensky's here, says a little late to the party, but hope all are well. Good to see you again, Eric. Thanks for stopping by. And Takoyaki Runner says, Stevie, I tried to learn how to remove a hornet's nest. I ended up finding a video where the dude grabbed the thing with his bare hands, threw it in a bag, and lit it with a blowtorch. That's so funny. I didn't know where that was going to go, but as I was reading it, sometimes I'm very much like, what is it? Scotch. He'll read anything on the teleprompter, like that, because I'll just start reading the comment. I don't know where it goes all the time. I'm glad that ended where it did. Shannon says, dumb question, but your shoe review videos are so magnificent. It looks like you have your camera on a track when you glide the camera past the sitting shoe. How do you make it so smooth? Oh, the main trick is slow motion. And I use a lot of stabilization in Final Cut Pro. And that kind of like takes out any of the little bumps or jitters. I don't use a slider. I have a slider back in Chicago. I have a couple sliders. I don't like to use them. They're really like, it takes a lot of setup. I have a roller skate. Basically, I mean, it's not literally a roller skate, but it's basically a piece of metal with 4 rollerblade wheels on it. And there's different camera mounts that I could put on it. So I'll put it on that for a lot of times. Other times I just leave the camera right on the table and I slide the camera across the table. It's not so great for the table surface all the time, but yeah, it works. It works for me. So I just keep it really basic. Other times, like if I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, I'll like kind of cup the camera in my hands and just slide my arms like around on the table to get like the angle I want. And sometimes just lifting it up like a finger's width from the table is just like the right height. So that's like the hard part, is like keeping that camera low but still level. It's hard to get that. A slider just gets really tall real fast. Remy says, since you're curious what you do. Your Friday run has a few tempo efforts mixed in after a week that has 7 hours of bike and 4 hours running with intervals. What shoe do you pick? All right, so Friday run with a few tempo efforts mixed in after a week that has 7 hours on the bike and 4 hours running with intervals. I would probably reach for something like a Rincon. I think that would be great because there's just like a lot of cushion EVA in there, but still a speedy shoe. I could also see going up with I'm leaning towards Clifton's because I'm just imagining after 11 hours of activity, then having a Friday run with tempo in it, wanting to have some cushion for the feet. I think the Nova Blast would definitely work in there. I would also, I could definitely see using a Boston as well, even though that's not the most stack height in there, just because I think that shoe's real smooth. I think that you could, let's see what else. Pick another couple. Endorphin Speed would fit really well. Fuel Cell TC. It might be too much for a tempo effort, but that's kind of like where I lean for it. Something squishy, but something that's still going to be a little bit fast. But I mean, I guess I could be way wrong on that because I've never done that menu of things before. So Maria João Leandro says, hi from Portugal. Awesome. Hi. She says, this is the perfect hour of the day to see you after dinner. Have a great 2021. Awesome. Very cool. Have a great 21 to you too. Happy New Year. And thanks for tuning in today. All right, let's do one more, and then I think I'm going to call it for today. Ooh, Warren McGowan says, suggestions for racing flats. I mean, is the Meta Racer too tall for you? I mean, that kind of like strikes me as like being a really nice one. The Speed Elite from Skechers Performance feels super quick, but there's not a lot of cushion to it. So like that's kind of like strikes me as more of like a racing flat type shoe. Otherwise, like a traditional actual racing flat, like the Zoom Streak. I really like that one. I think the Zoom Streak 7, I don't think it changed hardly at all from the 6. I think it's still Phylon, and that material is really fun to run on for a short distance. So those are some that I really like. Yeah, but I don't really, I mean, I think maybe I'm just getting old, but I don't really like the racing flats anymore. I just want a really thick stack height. I want a lot of cushion. So I haven't been looking at too much of those lately. All right. Steven76 says, ask a pizza question and keep Kofuzi from leaving. That would probably do it. I did have pizza rolls before I came up here today, so I'm not as like pizza hungry right now. All right, I'm gonna leave it there before you guys really get me too gummed up here. You guys are awesome. Tomorrow's video is gonna be about new earbuds. These guys, Jabra Elite 85T. So just got these in a couple days ago, and I've been running them. That's what tomorrow's video is going to be about. And live stream tomorrow, Monday Mukbang, I'm going to be looking at a new brand of granola bars. I don't know if they're new, but new to me, brand of granola bars. Doing another sampler pack, so we'll check them out. Same time, 3 p.m. tomorrow right here on YouTube. Hopefully I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody.